First and foremost, as always, I love to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, and peace and blessings unto the elect. All right, so this is the second part to the lesson that I said that I was going to do. And in this lesson, I'm going to be showing how, number one, you can't prove that you're of Jew or Jewish heritage by DNA testing, and also proven with historical artifacts, right, and different scholarship or scholars showing that we are linked to the biblical Israelites, right? Because you had this guy, this is Layfair TV, or he was talking about DNA and all types of madness on the comment board yesterday, as you can see. Now, he came and asked, are you an Israelite by blood or faith, right? Which, let me go ahead and answer the question, which I already did on the comment board, but to show y'all that we are Israelites by patrilineage. How your tribe is determined, or how your nationality is determined in general, is by your patril line. Ezra 2 and 59 again. It says, and these were they which went up from Telamah, Tel Haras, Cherub, Adon, and Immer, but they could not shew their father's house and their seed, whether they were of Israel. You see that? So that's how you determine if you're an Israelite or not, by your father's house, not by your mom. Okay, because your mom can be a heathen, but you can still be an Israelite. Okay, and that's where the so-called Jewish people, that's what they don't get, because they claim that you're of Jewish ancestry through your mother's side, which that's completely wrong. Okay, if your father is an Israelite and your mother is a heathen, you can still be an Israelite, period, point blank. Or you're not no mamzer, or you're not a bastard, or that is false. Let's go ahead and grab this in Exodus, the 4th chapter. Now this is, matter of fact, probably Exodus, the 3rd chapter. Let's see about Moses' children. Are Moses' children Israelites? Let's see. This is Exodus. Matter of fact, I'm going to have to go back one. Exodus, the 2nd chapter. Right now, I'm going to start at verse 15. It says, Now when Pharaoh heard this thing, he sought to slay Moses. But Moses fled from the face of Pharaoh and dwelt in the land of Midian. And he sat down by a well. Now the priests of Midian had 7 daughters. And they came and drew water and filled the troughs to water their father's flock. And the shepherds came and drove them away, but Moses stood up and helped them. Now jumping down to verse 20. Well, verse 19, it says, and they said, an Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds, and also drew water enough for us and watered the flock. All right, so their father was inquiring of Moses. They was like, yo, where he's at? Verse 20, and he said unto his daughters, and where is he? Why is it that ye have left the man? Call him that he may eat bread. And Moses was content to dwell with the man, and he gave Moses Zipporah, his daughter. So here it goes. Moses, he married a Midianite woman, right? Verse 22, and she bare him a son and called his name Gershom, for he said, I have been a stranger in a strange land. Now let's see if Gershom is reckoned in the tribe of Levi. Let's go ahead and get that in Chronicles, right? Let's see here. All right, First Chronicles. First Chronicles 6. Gonna get that. Let me see. Probably the wrong Gershom. Hold on, bear with me 1 second. Here we go. First Chronicles 23, and I'm gonna start verse 14. It says, now concerning Moses, the man of the Most High, his sons were named of the tribe of Levi. The sons of Moses were Gershom and Eleazar. You see that? So Gershom is reckoned in the genealogy of Levi, although his mom was a heathen woman, showing you that your nationality is determined or reckoned by your father's lineage, number one. So yes, you're an Israelite by blood, by your father's line, right? Now, number two, he says, so can it be proven by science, such as DNA, etc., that you have Hebrew or Jewish blood? right? So now let's go ahead and get this article right here, right? Can a DNA test determine Jewish status? According to Jewish law, tribal affiliation, including whether one is a Kohen, which is Kahan, which is priest or Levi, follows the direct patrial line, while the question of Jewishness follows the maternal line, which we just proved that to be wrong. Or does this mean that genetic testing is a valid way of asserting whether one is Jewish or Kahan? Now it says, for some basics, matter of fact, I'm going to skip that. All right, skip that and skip that, right? Yep, read here. Because even Jewish people, so-called Jewish people, they can't even prove that they're Jewish. They can't even prove that they go back to an Israelite heritage, so to speak. And everybody believe that they're Jewish. Everybody believe that they're the people of the Most High. Watch this. It says, as mentioned, Jewish identity follows the maternal line. If your mother is Jewish, you're Jewish, which is false. We just proved that. But it says, however, there's no such thing as a Jewish gene. So genetic testing cannot conclusively state whether a person is Jewish. So my question to this guy, are you going to walk up to a so-called Jew in New York or in Israel and say that they're not Jewish or they're not Jew? Because they can't emphatically prove with DNA testing that they are a Jew or they are Israelites. And what this guy failed to understand is you ain't going to get a DNA test. And let's just say that you can. Let's just say that you can get a DNA test and it will say, all right, Jew or Israelite. It's not going to pinpoint what specific tribe you're from, because that's not how DNA testing work. All DNA testing is going to do is tell you the landmass that your ancestors were predominantly in. And even that still doesn't prove your true nationality. That still doesn't prove your true nationality. Even if, let's just say, for example, I take a DNA test, or a so-called white people, or a so-called white person takes a DNA test, and it says that their origins go back to China. Does it mean that they're Chinese? No, it doesn't. Why is that? Because their father's lineage doesn't go back to an indigenous Chinese person or a Moabite as we know them to be. They'll be Edomite because of their father's line, period, point blank. So that's not how DNA testing work, smart guy. And then I asked him, was DNA testing accurate? And he didn't even answer the question. And answer the question, no, it ain't. Because you can take DNA test multiple times and it's going to give you different results each time. We've had brothers that done DNA testing and they get different results different times. So how do we prove that we're Israelites? What we do is we go to the Bible, which the Bible is a historical accurate book, right? We go to the curses and Deuteronomy 28 verse 68. Well, not verse 68, but from 15, but the 15th verse or the 16th verse all the way down to 68. And we take a look at different ethnicities that are within the earth and we match them up to see who aligns with what. And also Genesis, the 49th chapter, and Deuteronomy, the 33rd chapter. But also we have ancient artifacts to also prove who the true Israelites are. And scholars attest to it. Like, for example, got this, bam, right off bat. We got the Lost Luminous Decalogue Stone, which this is real. You can go see it. You can go see it. Now, what is this? This is in Mexico, where the so-called Mexicans are at, right? Which they are from the tribe of Issachar. And this is the 10 Commandments written in Hebrew in Mexico. Why is the 10 Commandments in Hebrew in Mexico? Why is it? And you can go and visit this place. You see what I'm saying? The Decalogue of Los Lunas, New Mexico. Here's a modern day English translation of the Los Lunas Decalogue. I am Yahweh your power, as take you out of the land of Egypt from the house of slaves. There must be no other gods before my face. You must not make any idol. Because pursuant to 2 Ezra 13, it tells you that the northern kingdom, they came to the Americas from the Assyrian captivity. Bam. There goes proof out. There goes a source outside of the Bible. Since people like, well, no, don't quote the Bible. Let's get an outside source. This is an outside. This is an outside source that proves that the Mexicans have to be Israelites from the tribe of Issachar. Watch this, right? Now this is Native Americans, the indigenous Americans, the tribe of Gad, right? It says now this was written by David Kaufman. And this guy, credible source, all right, it says is a doctoral student in New York University's Department of History and Hebrew and Judaic Studies, right? So this man studies this, right? And look what he says. Now it says, it has often been remarked that the people of the United States come nearer to a parallel with ancient Israel than any other nation upon the globe. Hence, our American Israel is term frequently used, and common consent allows it appointed and proper. This is a curious incident that drew considerable attention and proved, at least to some, that Native Americans had ancient Israelite origins unfolded when phylacteries were discovered in Pittsmouth, Massachusetts in the early 19th century. Their discoverer wrote that this forms another link in the evidence by which our Indians are identified with the ancient Jews, who are scattered upon the face of the globe, and to this day remain a living monument to verify and establish the eternal truths of Scripture. Now, why did they find phylacteries? Because let's go ahead and grab it. In 2 Ezra, it tells you that they came over here, right? The so-called Native Americans. They came over here to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. Let's go ahead and grab it. Put on Salat. 2 Ezra, thought I typed it in the first time. 2 Ezra, the 13th chapter, and verse 40. It says, these are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanassar, the king of Assyria, led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. Now jumping down to verse 44. Matter of fact, verse 42. I'm having them just keep going. Verse 41. But they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt, that they might keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land. So that was the whole point of escaping Assyria. I bet we're going to leave these heathens and we're going to keep the law, statutes, and commandments over here. Hence why they were wearing fringes, because that's a part of the law, statutes, and commandments, pursuant to Numbers 15 and 38. That's why in New Mexico, right, they have the Los Lunas Decalogue stone with the 10 Commandments written on it, so that they can keep the law, statutes, and commandments. That was the whole point. So we see how we can identify as Israelites. We take history or ancient artifacts, pottery, that lines up or correlate with the scriptures and match it up with us. That in fact proves that we are the Israelites. Another example, you have this Ashanti priest. You have this brother of the tribe of Ashanti, and look what he has around his neck. He has the Levitical breastplate, the ephod, right? 12. Look at this. It's 4 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's 3, right? 4 rows of 3. That equals up to what? 12. Representing what? The 12 tribes of Israel. This brother from the tribe of Ashanti. Proving that the Southern Kingdom are still over there in West Africa, and the Levites today, which you can find majority of them in Haiti, they would have to be Israelites. Period, point blank. There's no getting around it. There's no getting around these facts that are out here. So we can emphatically, and there's way more proof than this. There is way more proof than this that verifies that we have to be the ancient Israelites. There are other outside sources that can be used. This man talking about the doctrine of 1886. Forget that doctrine of 1886. We've been knowing that we were Israelites. Period. That's why the vast majority of those cultures in West Africa, even in Haiti, they still cleave and hold on to Israelite cultures, Israelite traditions. Why is that? Because for the most part, our people eternally know who we are. Period, point blank, man. Period, point blank. Hey, so that's it on that. Yahweh Tazah, this was edifying to you brothers and sisters. Till next time, shalom.